had been on a journey for many years, seeking good, and what evil was to be avoided.
They say you're a great magician.
Tell me, what do you make of the black arts?
And then something spoke to me. What was it? I believe my soul is within me.
On again, brother. Your soul is outside of you and you must claim it.
Abel, thank you so much for coming here. I'm going to. I really like, after seeing this the second time, I think it's one of... Yeah, of course I did. I think it's one of your most seminal, important works.
Seminal, what does that mean?
It means like it's...
Look it up.
Okay, the point is that I feel like you have such an incredible body of work. And this is almost looking at life, like what are the complexities, like the shadow aspects, like what moves us, confronting our fears, looking towards creation, towards the end of life, like all these really beautiful poetic things that you have put so eloquently in front of us. And I think after this year of pause, it's like we've all really know what's important. So I'd love for you to talk about, because I know that this is a really personal film for you, and it took so long. I think it's like one of your bravest films to make. So I would love for you to speak about that.
All right, great. I'd love to hear what everybody has to think is what I I just spoke for 90 minutes, so let's do this. Let's get some reactions going, and then we'll speak, okay?
All right, so...
And then I'm going to give a big speech.
Okay.
Okay, so, guys, we're really, it doesn't have to be a question, it doesn't have to be anything. It doesn't even have to have anything to do with the movie. But somebody like to break the ice, say something, make a comment, enlighten us.
I thought the flick was kind of like transcendental almost. Like, you ever read that Paul Schrader book about transcendental filmmaking?
No.
It almost felt like...
Yeah.
Can
everybody hear? Can everybody hear? Okay, we don't. All right. No, go ahead. The length of the shots?
Yeah, just how you stuck like on the shot, like
right.
On shot to mountains and stuff.
Right, about being out there, Yeah, we the thing is we don't go out in nature. We're not even crazy about dogs. I know I like dogs a lot. I'm just scared of them, and I'm scared of them because I had a German Shepherd when I was growing up, and every time everything was cool, they bite somebody. So, no, we made the commitment to go to take it, to take it to the Alps, take it to the Mexican desert. Take it to really be in there, in the cold, in the cave, in the rocks, and with the animals, and it just gave it a whole, obviously, the location is it where you are, if it's Lower East Side or if it's, out there. So.
When did you start filming?
We finished Pasolini, and then we started writing, right? Yeah, it was after Pasolini, and these ideas, the idea just came of the, I don't know, the Jacqueline, the snow, the things out in Nowhereville, and and I knew it was going to be a motherfucker to put it together, and, but we just hung in there, we just did it beat by beat. In Europe, you do it with the governments, which is, that's a big shift from shooting here in the States, because it's a big shift, because in a million years I wouldn't think of, calling Joe Biden and asking him for money. You know what I mean? But in Europe, that's what you really do. The government supports the crew, the guys, and anyway, so.
Was Mexico supportive like that?
Yeah, Mexico was a great guy because Mexico, the dude, I knew this guy was going to be a hustler because, you only Skype somebody in front of, like, he's got these posters, but you don't know what else he has, right? You don't know who he is or what he is. And he's saying he's going to come up with X amount of money, and if we come there, right? And he has a production deal, which he didn't have. He didn't have very little. He didn't even have the 100,000, but he convinced these Italians that I was working with. So, but you need like three, it's like a 3-card deal. You need like 3 countries. So we had Germany and Italy. And we needed the desert, you think? But Mexico was great shooting because it would be like, we get in the middle of nowhere. We're in the middle of fucking nowhere. And all these people that we were with are from Mexico City. So they just thought they were like in another country because we were like by the border of Arizona. And, they'd say, okay, the crew, first day, like, the crew was like, 5 guys, right? Well, like, 15 people show up, and pickup truck pulls up, and there's like 15, 20 people. I says, well, wow, this is some crew you got. But this is because then nobody has, they're bringing their cousins, they're bringing whatever. And we were all working. I mean, it was awesome, though, because, and these guys, there was food, there was whatever, there was beer at the end. They even had beer when you rap, which is something so old school. Like, you can't even do that in, Western countries. But this place, there was beer at the rap. So, and these guys, they were still kept working. So, anyway, I'm getting off the...
What does the fish say?
What?
What does the fish say?
The fish, the fish thing is from this. In New City, which isn't far from here, in 1995, before the computer, in a Hasidic fish store, there was a Puerto Rican guy working with an Hasidic, a young dude, right, who owned the fish store. And the fish started talking. Okay, Puerto Rican guy almost cut his finger off. The other guy flipped, and they put it in the newspaper. And I remember reading, and this became like viral before there was a computer. Like this, it went crazy. In fact, the dude who owned the store wished he never said anything. People coming to the store went through the whole thing, and the fish said those words, which are basically, you are responsible. In the end, you're responsible for your own actions. That's all you have, You have your thoughts, your words, your actions. And don't worry about what everybody else is doing, So this is kind of our theme, even in the last one.
Was he dead and was he schizophrenic?
Who? Which one?
The character.
Yeah, that's a good question. Was he dead? Let's do that. Clint, right?
No, he wasn't
Was he schizophrenic?
One of the things we dealt with in the film, I think you put it very well in terms of the human aspects of it. But there were the larger aspects of, what is really reality. And today we're hearing a lot of quantum physicists saying that, well, consciousness is related to time-space. And so we kind of touch on that in many of the scenes here in terms of what is the reality. The fish are talking. Does it matter if the fish are talking? Well, does it matter if we understand what the Eskimo was saying? And all of that is no, because we're really all stuck in the prison house of language. So there's a certain irrelevance, and then the magician actually explains it. He says your reason just taking you just to a certain point, and you're off in the wrong direction. So, when Abel and I are sitting there kicking it around, the whole idea is there a beginning, a middle, and end out in the cosmos? Well, who knows? Because everything we say, we've created ourselves. We don't know what the unknowable is. So, in terms of is Clint dead? Well, how about the hallucinatory nature of death? I don't know. I don't know if Clint is dead. I don't think so.
I love that. I feel like that ties into what we were talking about earlier today about like DMT and a psychedelic experience, and I feel like Siberia taps into this. No, but it's so incredible because I feel like it's one of the first like mainstream narrative films to actually tackle this subject matter, looking at all of it, like the past, the present, the future, like where our family lines are, generational trauma, like what's happening, and it's like, it's just, this film is so much bigger, and it's starting like such an important dialogue. So I'm thankful that you guys made this, and I think it pushes all of us to start thinking about these things. Okay, we can take it back.
You don't have to take mushrooms to do it.
Yeah. What was the diegetic singing in the tent in the desert? I was curious about that. If that was the singing,
This
you know,
is
so
like,
striking.
who shows up in a pickup truck? I had written this in I was I just had this, thought. I always wanted to make this movie about Jesus between, we all know Jesus at his bar mitzvah and then at the crucifixion. Like the in-between you don't get, He's 13 and a genius at the temple, and then bang, he's 33 years old. So what the fuck happened? But in this period, he's 800 years behind Buddha. And obviously that teaching was there for him, and also the medicine, right? The idea of the medicine. And in Egypt, you can, they had it, So if I had the medicine to cure, what the Egyptians had to cure someone's cataract, or if I cure somebody's cataract today, I'm just, I'm a doctor. Okay, thank you. They don't build a religion to it. You dig? If you're in a coma and someone brings you out of coma, it's not like you're bringing the dude back from the dead. They're not miracles. It's medicine. Jesus had that. He was a doctor, or he had those tools. Well, I'm never gonna. If I don't make that film, this is the kind of film I could put that scene in. Okay, and then. The whole thing here is this. With Willem, and when I started making this film, it was like this. Willem's played Van Gogh. For us, he's done 6 films. He's played Pasolini. He's played characters we've created. He played me in the last film, okay? I was thinking here, instead of him playing the character, you always think, okay, what's Willem going to play? What if the character is playing Willem? So when I'm thinking of Clint, I'm not thinking of Clint, I'm thinking of Willem. And I'm thinking of all the things I know about him. Okay? So we start, the beginning really, and this is just for us here, okay, is Willem, who's never been to a psychiatrist, or never been in a therapy, sat with him in like real therapy, right? He's never been to it. He could use it, but he's never been to it. Neither have I have never been to it. I don't want to pay for it, but I get it for free anyway. So we get it for free. But Willem did sessions that we videoed, but it was just him and Willem. Some really, Willem made the commitment to it, and we started using these. But we're basically, it's almost Clint playing Willem. Part of Willem's deal is this. His uncle gave birth to like 6 toughs. His uncle was a great doctor. His father is a great doctor. His brothers were doctors. He was expected to be a doctor. He was a big disappointment to his family, all the way up, when he was an actor. And even in the end, his old man must think, he could save lives, or he could be a fucking, put makeup on and dance around with fucking dogs, you can do something for the world. You know what I'm saying? The idea, but it's the idea of medicine, anyway. What was the question? Oh, let me get to it. So what happens is, we got the deal that we're going to go to Mexico. Okay, we needed to go to Egypt, okay? But I'm happy we're going to Mexico. Because I'm dying to see the guy with the posters, because I know this is going to be a scam when we get there. So we get there, and now we're creating, but you can't really, so we bring in camels. I mean, we're in Mexico with camels. It's like ridiculous. Now you start sensing, how stupid making movies is. Like, you know what I mean? We're gonna create Egypt in the middle of, like, Geronimo country. So now we want to get, like, mystical people. And now they're bringing some freaks, man. These chicks show up, they're fucking, you're talking what you're talking, you know. They're fucking, you know, you want to see fucking, you know, medicine and the blacks thing, and they're starting to, you know, chant, and, you know, so I ain't, you know, I'm not sweating. You know, it's like what it is, who the fuck knows what it is, you know. Mexican guys looking like they're, you know.
So they brought the singing.
Yeah, we were looking for, you know, mystic kind of people. She's talking about Joshua Tree. You know, out there, shit, you know. Healers, okay? Healers, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I have some fucking questions. Jesus. Alright, I'm gonna go with, what do you guys, whatever, I'm just gonna go for this one. What do you guys think happen? Where do we go when we dream? Where do we go? That's the question.
Neil.
I can only answer that when I'm on mushrooms.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, that's great. That's okay. What's the
Well, you know, there are obviously a lot of theories about dreams and what they're supposed to be. I recently read somebody said, well, the brain is fighting for its existence, one cell against another in the billions of cells in the dream, in the brain. And he postulated this theory that the dream is like the waking state, and that's when the cells do not attack each other. So where do we go when we dream? Maybe we're just trying to survive, you know, fight off brain death.
I've looked too much, it's entirely primal.
But to answer your question in another way, it gets back to the thing that Abel and I were really dealing with on some level, which is, you know, what is the ultimate nature of reality? What is consciousness? I mean, we're sitting in this room, and so every one of us can postulate we have the problem of other minds. So to answer your question, again, it could be any one of almost an infinite number of things.
Anybody want to postulate something?
Yeah.
I just had another question. The therapy that you had Willem go to, what kind of therapy was this?
Yeah,
Was it
just
like,
don't put this on Instagram. Yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead. Yeah, let's go. 'Cause I know. I mean, me and them don't matter, but I know he's like.
I was just curious because like it felt like a lot of the film felt very like psychoanalytic. Like there was
Right.
a lot of like Lacanian sort of stuff to it. Like a lot of.
Are you a doctor too?
No.
Well, let's be clear about the therapy. The therapy was not intended to bring about some change that Willem was looking for. We were using the therapy in terms of being experimental with Abel involved to see what we could find when two people sit across from one another with the alleged idea of gaining clarity for hopefully at least one. What would come out of this in terms of filming? So I want to be very clear on that. I didn't take Willem into therapy. What I did was I use short-term therapy. Basically, it's analytically based, but it's much more challenging. And every session was videotaped, and we sent it to Abel. And he then took that and incorporated it in some way, some of it, into the film. So really, it was a group effort. And
Yeah, you know, I mean, it sounds. He don't want to hear about it, you know what I mean? So I can't. But whenever we bring it up, it sounds great. It's like one of these things that sounds a lot better than, you know, when we'll do any fucking thing we could do to get what we got to get. You know, we'll do anything, man. You know what I mean? We'll wear dresses and try to write the script. You know, we'll do anything to try to make it, to bring something together with it. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I would say this is basically the synthesis of the artist, and behind there is the psychiatrist, and the other side there is the intellectual. I think, guys, you put a meta cinema all together and try to make a film all together. Question: the Cervantes. If I don't make a mistake, there was a horse with the Sancho Pancha. There was this a meta citation. Yours or Willem Dafoe? Just curiosity.
What, the horse coming across the?
No. It's the jokes of the small horse.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the guy shooting it.
Yeah.
Lucas Cervantes of Don Quixote.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm right.
That was Willem.
Yeah, that's an improvisation. That's an improvisation on the props that they bring. You know, on the
He's stuck with the book.
on the props that they bring.
Everybody's
But
stuck with the book. That's what
yeah,
I want.
yeah. There's this Hitchcock story. The friend of Hitchcock would say, man, I get these great ideas when I'm sleeping. You know, I wake up, I get these great ideas, and I wake up in the morning, and I can't remember. Hitchcock says, put a pencil on a piece of paper next to your bed. Okay? So the next time Hitchcock sees the guy, says, how'd you do? He says, well, I woke up in the middle of the night, it was a great idea, I wrote it down, and when I saw it in the morning, it said, boy meets girl. So it's like, at the end of the day, when we're reaching, and I'm trying to reach to the heavens, what is really, for Willem, or is his mother, his father, and the woman in his life, who had his child and who he never had to resolve. That scene with Dunya. And he never, there was some, it's like, there's that relationship in your life that you're gonna have, and that's gonna, and anyway, so it's like that kind of simple stuff. So the whole bit with the doctor, the father, or his mother didn't pick him up, but you know what I'm saying. His mother didn't pick him up at school, some bullshit.
I have a question for you, Abel. I feel like you're really deep in your creative practice, and I feel like this movie is so deep in that channel. What's your ritual? Like you're saying you'll do whatever you can to get the thing, but what is your thing?
What do you mean?
Like, in order to create, do you have a ritual around it? Like, how do you feel like you access your own creative channel? Do you feel like it's coming down from...
I'm not thinking about it at all on any level.
It just happens.
You know what I mean? Somebody asked me the other day, like, they asked me, how many pages do you, how many pages do you get to before you stop? If I thought I had to write one, I wouldn't even, it would be too daunting to me. You know what I mean? I'm just, I'm just going with the, we're in the flow of it, you know what I mean? It's like with the music. It's like what comes first. Yeah.
Well, I was going to pick up on what Illyse was asking about in terms of the creative process. And for one thing, I think it's the filmmaking has become more collaborative than ever. We've been doing this for so long, and I know on the sound end, we're all working together. There's the lines are kind of blurred, especially on this film, between sound design and score, right? But what's killing me about this screening is the look and the sound of the film is so understated, right? Where it would have been very easy on this film, because you have these, amazing visuals, to have done these big sweeping panoramas and then big orchestral score with it, and instead it's really the reverse of that, where it's very, very understated and quiet and dynamic. So there are points, the bear fight or the cave scene, the death camp, where it's really, we blow you out of the seats. But then in the later scenes of the film, it's so quiet when we see the dogs, and you hear that one little bark that, every frame and every sound of this film was really thought out and well worked. So and I don't think it's something that Abel or any of us who are staying up at night saying, well, that dog is going to be just you know,
No,
3
no, it's
decibels
like,
left.
in other words, we had the idea in the beginning, it's like everyone's reading it. The idea is, it's not like we're going to do one idea. We're thinking about different things. I'm not going to make the film if Willem's not into it. I start thinking about some crazy place in the middle of nowhere, and he's in right off the bat. You know what I mean? So we start, anyway, whatever.
And Abel, that being said, I think the sound design is fantastic in the film.
My experience with Abel's artistic process is that it never ends. It's like he's always working on 3 things continuously. What's the next film? Read this script. There's like a never-ending flow of ideas. So I don't think he has to sit down and come up with anything. Yeah.
No, but once you get in the groove, you're in the groove. And then, it's the process. You know what I mean? So it's not like the beginning, middle, and end. You're in the process of making movies. It's just I've been doing it since I'm 16, so it's not a I don't know. It's just not.
But you also have a need to create as an artist. I feel like you're a person that can't sit still.
Film, okay. To answer that question, because it's a Q&A. Who quacks in the asshole? Who's the quacks? We finished the film. I sat down. It just came from, who the fuck knows? And actually, it didn't come from who the fuck knows. I was going to a bar. There's this little Italian bar. I live in Rome, right? It's like an out-of-the-way bar. And I go there every day for coffee, all right? There's 2 guys there. The one guy, the barista, the guy gives you the coffee. This guy kind of don't talk that much, but he's like doing that. The other guy, he's making the sandwiches. He's taking deliveries. I go there every day. These 2 guys are like clockwork. Like they're not fighting, they're not arguing. And it's like after a while, I'm saying, man, these 2 guys work in this fucking bar like this. You know what I mean? It's like too crazy. You know what I mean? It's just like one guy comes out of the back, just like this shit, right? So I'm starting to think of this bar, and then I'm thinking a bar in the middle of nowhere. Like Jack London, for some reason, coming from the Bronx is funny. When you're there, those kind of stories of like the North Pole and all this shit. We ate it up, the shit in the desert, the Geronimo and all this fucking shit. We ate it up, coming from an urban setup. And then I think the hook was, I'm thinking, what if Willem plays both these characters? Which, who knows what that is, so now I throw it up to Willem, all right, so what does that even mean? He's going to play both. Are they going to be real? Now we spend the next God knows how long thinking about what it is. Is it here? He's not there. It's with him. Does he see him? He's not okay. Which, again, is the filmmaking process, because you can talk all you want about the other, of envisioning people that aren't there, or the other side of you, or blah, blah, blah. But when you film something, you have to film it. You got to get real. You got to do it. Willem's got to put something on, and he's got to, figure out how he's going to play that, So, and then that's just was it. I mean, it's not, And then, anyway, somebody's got. Yeah, say, give me a.
Did the choice? Oh.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah, man. What's up? You saying, do I have a question?
No, you just haven't said.
Oh yeah, what's up, everybody?
We just made comment on,
I thought it was interesting. We all got a bunch of questions back here, and we were trying to save it for later. But I got a ton of questions about, obviously, your whole career and shit like that. For instance, like your earlier films, since we on the topic of scores and whatnot, like City of New York, how you managed to embody something that was just like a metropolitan place. And I'm part of King of New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little stone back there. But, feel like you embody the Metropolitan kind of story perfectly. You know what I'm saying? And, I mean, just having like the actors and different kind of casting and stuff like that, versatile cast. But the music, that shit was gangster as fuck. It was like School D and all that. Did these guys work with you on that back then?
Yeah, with King.
Did you work with School D?
Did I work with
No, the question is wants to know where this all came from. The thing was, we were, you know, we were the rap was that I was like a major rap fan. He wants to know how we hooked up this week. How we hooked up with School.
Oh, how we hooked up with
School.
School.
But the thing is, I'm saying I was a major rap fan.
Yeah,
These guys. Okay, so when I first went fanatical, they were like, what the
It had to
fuck?
be King of New York.
Yeah,
right?
I remember you guys like, what the fuck you listen to?
Yeah, right.
And even though to this day, I cannot give it up. This is like, I cannot give it up. And it's like, you know, I mean, the whole deal from, you know, from Tone, you know, I still listen to Tone Loc, that second album, you know, it's like, fucking spectacular. And the other guys I like is Little Capone and.
Let me go start setting the band.
Yeah, all right, good. I'll dance some music. All right, so Capone now, and yeah, he's dead. Those Chicago dudes, those young Chicago guys. So anyway, we're listening to stuff, and I hear the Schoolie stuff is like a knockout, and I'm saying, all right, get him. You know, okay, where is he, man? You know, we got to find him, and we could not find the guy. You know what I mean? Like anybody else, like you put the word out, you want to use the music in the movie, you get hear from him. And this guy had no interest. There was no. And then it almost got like the Robert Johnson thing. Like you'd be, I mean, even somebody like, you know, I remember Ice-T's. I'm saying, have you met him? I mean, have you seen him? I'm just talking. He goes, yeah, we're going to put the show together. They go, but no, he didn't show up that day. And it's all of a sudden he became this mythical person, you know. And but he's not a mythical person. He's in Philly. You know, he's not mythical. He's like, but you know, and no, Schoolie's, you know, he's a genius, really. So a few geniuses, you know, that you could say that motherfucker's a genius. You know, he's a genius because he paints, he talks, his whole game of life. But and as a poet, is extreme. You know, magnificent. Anyway, so then we immediately we went down there to shoot. We went down there to shoot his video. We're going to shoot the video of King of New York, right? So we're going to do the song that was in the movie. My DP, who shot up most of our stuff, his wife is having a baby, so we keep putting it off. We'll be down there next week. Not going to be. We're going to be down there next week, another week. Okay, finally, fuck the baby. Let's go. Okay, we drive down there and we land, and then we pick up on the way Teresa, you know, the black chick from King of New York, Teresa Randall, who was, you know, she was another genius in her right. She had flown in from LA to Philadelphia, so we arrived in like, you know, Schoolie's hood in his studio. And there he was, you know, I mean, and there he was. He was there. He finally, like, it was a sighting. You know, I'm thinking, and there he was. But anyway, he was in the studio fucking around. We come rolling in with all this shit, and then the call comes, and the DP just gets it, goes, give me your keys to your car. Turns around, gets in the car and splits because his wife's having a baby. And they think we're not going to shoot, but we shot anyway. We just said, fuck it, you know. No, and then this was freaking because they were planning on doing one song, and he wrote the song King of New York after we made the movie. Okay, it's not in the movie. He wrote it after the movie. You know, and again, I hear this song, and I'm saying, this song is what I wanted the movie to be. You know, he got to the philosophy and the ideas in that song you know, is a poet. You know, it's like you don't need all this, man. You know, I mean, well, you're gonna hear us play if I can say it, but it's like you know, to be a musician, to be a poet. Yeah, it's like the height. That's the ultimate. You know what I mean? That's like the great. You know, you just have that. It's just the words and that. So anyway, we're still in contact.
That's good. Sound like some typical rapper shit. Can we see y'all play?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
You want you and play? You
I'm feeling nice tonight.
All right, good. Well, yeah.
All right,
We weren't planning on doing any schooling, so
he was here. It was so fun.
Yeah, where did we do that one?
It was great.
It was.
Yeah, they performed here at the Django after
Yeah,
the King of New York screening. It was great. Okay, should we do
Once
one
upon
more?
a time in the ghetto.
Should we do one more question and then we'll all go to the
Once upon a
Django?
time in the ghetto. Little brother, kind of tough, kind of mellow. In a gang called the Parkside Killers. Let me just recite this. Let me cite this great American poet. Here's something from a great American poet. It goes, once upon a time in the ghetto, a little brother, kind of tough, kind of mellow, in a gang called the Parkside Killers. Smoked a lot of J's, he drunk a lot of Millers. On the corner selling yayo with the boys. Holding his dick, he's fucking with the young hoes. They say, little brother, what's your name? He say, suck my dick. Tell your mama do the same. His mother and father said, fuck him. The bitches on the block still suck him. You owe money, well, you better not duck him. Because he might start bucking. On his head, he got a motherfucking bounty. He gets caught, he goes straight to the county. Be another young brother in J.O. Standing on the corner selling that yayo. The killer line is, just another killer, maybe. Just another brother, maybe. That's the maybe. All right. Let's play both.